Welcome everyone to Coin New Yen Review channel. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so more people can discover us. Enjoy the show. I licked the aloof school beauty for 10 years only for her to turn and lick me but I didn't appreciate it at all. Instead, I kicked her away with one swift motion, because over the past 10 years, I had licked her umbilical cord to breaking. Yet, her eyes were always fixed on the delinquent school bully. She said he was a unique existence unlike anyone else. Later, due to an accident, we tragically perished in a sea of flames. She too saved him, abandoned me without hesitation in the inferno. The unrequited love I guarded for 10 years was burned to ashes in that fire. In the end, I chose to go abroad, never seeing her again, but I never expected. 10 years later, she and I would meet again at a business event. I saw Willow Hayes again at a business banquet. She was lost and thought head bowed. A glimpse of her swan-like snow-white neck peeked from under the sofa. Despite the bustling crowd around her, she seemed to create an invisible barrier untouchable, a vacuum zone that screamed strangers keep out. She was striking impossible to miss. 10 years apart, she seemed even colder than before. Her gaze on others was like unmelting snow on an icy plain. Perhaps only when looking at Shepherd Field would she melt into a springtime glow. She didn't see me. She only lowered her eyes, a trace of impatience flickering in her expression. She noticed me staring at her friend, whispering softly, "That's the eldest daughter of the Willow family, just back from abroad and already taking over. Rumor has it she's an Oxford graduate, a true scholar. She came back and immediately tamed the board. Not your typical brainless rich kid." Pretty how she winked, flashing an ambiguous smile. She's practically the textbook definition of a perfect heroine. They say her suitors could line up from South Sun Street to Main Avenue. Go meet her. I said nothing. In my mind, I couldn't help but recall the old Willow Hayes. Willow Hayes at 17. Her skin so fair it seemed almost transparent in the sunlight. Her eyes fixed on me with earnestness carried a delicate smile. Her voice like ice melting in a spring stream. Dawn light, let's get into Tsinghu together. That was a memory far too distant. I thought I'd long forgotten it. Yet now recalling it, it felt as vivid as yesterday. I set my wine glass back on the waiter's tray, softly saying no need. Let's go, but just then, Willow Hayes' gaze swept over from afar, then abruptly lingered on me. She froze, then pushed through the crowd striding toward me. In the end, she was so eager she began to run, her high heels clacking urgently on the floor. "Dawn light," she called out loudly, her voice trembling with a hint of disbelief. I don't know if I was mistaken, but her eyes seemed to redden slightly. I pretended not to see, and turned to leave. My story with Willow Hayes wasn't anything special. Our families had been close since we were kids. We were even born in the same hospital, just moments apart. The textbook definition of childhood sweethearts. Willow Hayes was born proud, believing everyone beneath the heavens except her was irredeemable trash. From elementary school, the love letters she received could fill half a drawer. She never read a single one, only tore them up expressionlessly in front of the boys who sent them and tossed them into the trash. She had every right to be proud. Born into wealth, exquisitely beautiful, brilliantly intelligent. At 3, she was already flipping through an Oxford dictionary. By 11, she had hacked her father's company firewall and snagged confidential files, making her father stomp in fury, yet secretly brag with pride. Only in front of me did she ever hold back. Willow never skipped grades. In her words, I was so dumb. If she didn't stick by me, I'd be doomed. So after school, I'd go to her house, or she'd come to mine playing and tutoring me. She'd tap my head with a pen, scolding, "Dawn light, you idiot. I've explained this simple problem so many times and you still don't get it. Are you a moron?" With a genius tutor like Willow giving me private lessons every day, even a fool like me had to catch on eventually. From childhood, our grades were always first and second. One of us first, the other second. In life, we were inseparable like two peas in a pod. Her mom always teased us. saying we were so close we shared the same pants, joking with my mom about arranging a betrothal. Every time I heard that, my face would flush and I'd stay silent, but my heart was bursting with joy. Who wouldn't love Willow Hayes? So beautiful, so exceptional, so openly biased toward me alone. If the story had ended there, it would have been a perfect childhood sweetheart tale. But sadly, not long after Shepard Field appeared, Shepard was unlike any guy I'd ever met. To put it nicely, he was a free spirit. To put it bluntly, he was a thug. He transferred to our school in sophomore year. Rumor had it he was expelled from his last school for causing trouble. He never paid attention in class, often skipped to go hang out, while other boys dutifully wore their uniforms. He sported a tight black tank top, showing off faint ABS and a tattoo, drawing sneaky glances from the girls. He loved dating. Pretty much every good-looking girl in school had been with him at some point. People gossiped, but he didn't care. He even used it as bragging material. He ran with the delinquents outside school, hanging out with girls with wild dyed hair, kissing them in public. After school, he'd chew gum under everyone's stare, hop on his motorcycle, rev the engine, letting the girl clinging to him scream with glee. In an era when everyone seemed cut from the same mold, he was like a dazzling firework, catching everyone's attention, including Willow Hayes. Someone like Shepard and Willow should have had nothing in common. One was a perennial bottom-feeder delinquent, whose parents were deadbeat gamblers, who never cared about him, ignored by teachers. The other was the depraved scholar, from a wealthy family, polite and disciplined, the pride of teachers and parents alike. Yet somehow they got tangled up. The first time Shepard sent her a love letter, Willow stuffed it straight into the trash. Then he came in person with a second one. He cornered her against a wall, smirking as he pinned her hands above her head, leaning close to whisper in her ear, a puff of white smoke escaping Willow Hayes. "You've got my eye on you. Go out with me." Plenty of guys liked Willow, but none dared chase her like that. I thought she'd reject him mercilessly like the others, but for the first time she looked flustered. The tips of her ears flushed red, and just like that, Willow and Shepard started dating. In her words, Shepard was vibrantly different from everyone else, like a beam of light, brightening her monotonous life. When I waited for Willow at the school gate, I'd see Shepard with his arm around her neck. He'd grin and tease her playfully. "Your little childhood sweetheart is waiting for you. Want to go do homework with him?" His friends would burst into laughter. "Yeah, Willow. Go home and study. Dawn Light's waiting for you like a puppy." I felt uneasy, frowning at Willow, but she just glanced at me coldly, then linked arms with Shepard and walked away. Without saying a word to me, Shepard turned back, giving me a pitying, mocking smile. Shepard didn't like me, and forbade Willow from hanging out with me, so she stopped seeking me out. When I tried to find her, she'd coldly brush me off. She stopped going to the library with me, stopped coming over to tutor me. She started skipping classes to go on dates with Shepard, fighting with delinquent girls for him, even sneaking out with her family's car to race with him. That year's final exams were the first time I ever surpassed Willow, taking first place in our grade, while her grades plummeted. Her parents were furious. Teachers pleaded with her earnestly, but she was like someone possessed, obsessed with Shepard. In the end, Willow's mom begged me to talk to her. I didn't want to go. I knew Willow wouldn't listen to me, but I went anyway. For the girl who used to tap my head and call me dumb, who said we'd go to Tsinghu together. She was wearing a miniskirt and fishnet stockings, her hair dyed yellow, her fingers adorned with skull-shaped rings, smoking with Shepard in an alley, and then they shared a kiss through the white smoke. She was nothing like the meticulous girl I once knew, almost a different person entirely. I walked over and pulled her aside. Willow's face showed impatience. "Are you going to lecture me like everyone else?" I clenched my fists, holding back as I pleaded. "Willow, didn't you say we'd go to Tsinghu together?" I paused, suppressing the faint ache in my chest, almost begging. "I know you like Shepard. I won't stop you from liking him. But can it wait until after the college entrance exam?" Willow let out a mocking laugh. Then Shepard sauntered over, wrapping his arm around her neck. kissing her lips possessively. He turned to me, his eyes malicious and provocative. Dawn light. Willow's my girlfriend. What makes you think she's going to sing Hugh with you? Who the hell do you think you are? My face paled. I looked at Willow, but she just avoided my gaze. Let's make this clear, Shepard said. So you'll stop clinging to someone else's woman. He blew out a puff of smoke and nudged Willow with his elbow. Choose him or me. Even today, I still remember that brief yet endless evening. The sunset was a fierce, intoxicating crimson. I stood there awaiting Willow's judgment. A moment later, she raised her lips in a mocking smile. And then, she kissed Shepard deeply right in front of me. After the kiss, she looked into his eyes and said, "Is that even a question?" I walked away quickly, got straight into the car. Behind me, Willow's face was pale as paper, standing at the gate frantically searching for me. She didn't see me. The street lamp stretched her shadow thin and long. Somehow it looked fragile, as if it might break. Yet I felt no pity. The years of devotion I poured into her were nothing but ashes now. I drove away without looking back, leaving her standing there alone. The memories of our childhood faded like smoke in the wind. No matter how vivid they once were, they were gone just like her. I leaned back in the driver's seat and lit a cigarette. The minty burst of flavor filled the enclosed car. I closed my eyes slightly. I never used to smoke. It was a habit I picked up abroad. Tobacco doesn't bring much joy, but it can briefly make you forget your troubles. The shadow of going abroad was nearly being burned alive. That afternoon, I went to find Willow Hayes. Some punks who had fought with Shepard came looking for trouble. Rumor had it his sister had dated Shepard, and even had an abortion for him. Later, she kept pestering Shepard, but Willow Hayes slapped her across the face. That punk couldn't swallow her pride, and called in her big shot from the streets. That afternoon, the three of us were tied up and thrown into a van. Shepard got the worst of it, covered in blood. Then, the three of us were dumped in an abandoned warehouse, waiting for the so-called boss to deal with us. Young bodies can take a beating. Though it looked bad, they were mostly superficial wounds. Shepard woke up quickly and managed to cut the ropes binding his hands. The warehouse had two doors. Willow Hayes had always loved tinkering with things. She'd even taken apart her house's door lock before. She used a piece of wire to pick the lock on the door, just as the three of us were about to escape. The punks heard the noise and kicked the door open. I instinctively looked at Willow Hayes. In a split second, her gaze landed on Shepard. She grabbed his hand and ran. My hand was left hanging in midair. My blood ran ice cold. As Shepard fled, he didn't forget to shove me back, slamming the door shut in my face. That 1 second of delay kept me from escaping. The events after that day, I hadn't thought about in a long time. One of the punks recognized me, knew I was Willow Hayes' childhood friend. With Willow and Shepard gone, the punks took all their anger out on me. They broke my leg with a stick. I don't know how many blows I took. By the end, I was barely breathing. Finally, they set the warehouse on fire. The flames were hot, scorching. My eyes burned dry. I couldn't even cry, but I felt cold all over. Cold as death. That fire burned away my decadalon unrequited love. Yet somehow I didn't die. A passerby saw the fire and called 119. It was my fate to survive. The fire brigade was nearby that day. They came quickly. After I was rescued, my parents broke down. I lay in the hospital for a full half-month. When I woke, I said only one thing to my parents. I don't want to stay here anymore. Because of that incident, my leg could no longer handle intense exercise. I used to love playing basketball, loved long-distance running, loved skiing, but after that I couldn't do any of it. My family and the Willow family cut ties completely. Willow's parents brought her to see me several times, but my parents drove them out. After that, to leave this heartbreak behind, my parents immigrated with me. I changed my contact information, severing all ties to my past. For a full 10 years after that, Willow Hayes and I never saw each other again. I was 17 that year. My youth ended in such a brutal, laughable way, abruptly cut short. At 27, I returned to take over the family business. I never expected to see Willow Hayes. The moment I saw her, the pain sealed away for 10 years came rushing back, making me instinctively avoid her. Willow Hayes in the first 17 years of my life was a name that brought me so much light. Yet at 17, she personally pushed me into hell. To be fair, the events of that day weren't entirely her fault. She chose Shepard. Not choosing me wasn't a crime. Now, I don't hate her that much, but I also don't want to see her again. The more you don't want to run into someone, the more fate ensures you do. I didn't expect to see Willow Hayes again so soon. In the negotiation meeting room, she was still holding the door open, staring at me intently, her body as if turned to stone, frozen in place. After a long moment, her lips began to tremble. I don't know if it was my imagination, but I thought I saw her eyes redden. A surge of complex emotions welled up inside me, almost overwhelming my control. Shen beside me glanced at me. "What's wrong?" he asked. That one sentence pulled me out of my trapped emotions. I steadied my voice. "Nothing." Throughout the negotiation, both Willow Hayes and I were distracted. I was on edge, restless. As soon as the meeting ended, I wanted to leave, but Willow grabbed me. Her eyes were full of red veins. Hoarsely, she said, "Dawn Light. That day it was your dad. I've been looking for you for years." At that moment, memories flooded back uncontrollably. The unbearable pain, the searing heat of the flames, the leg that could no longer run. I yanked my hand free. "Miss Willow, please behave yourself," she hurriedly said. "Dawn Light, I know I wronged you back then. All these years, I think about that day every day." Just as I was about to lose control and leave, Shen stepped in front of me. He was tall, about 59, half a head taller than Willow. When he stood before me, he completely blocked her view. "Miss Willow," his voice was a bit flippant, but his tone was icy. "Business is business. Why are you grabbing our CEO in public? You may not care about gossip, but our company's reputation matters." Willow's expression darkened and she frowned. "This is between me and Dawn Light. We're old acquaintances. Please step aside." Shen glanced at me. My brows furrowed, irritation rising in my chest. He turned back with a mocking laugh. "Sorry, Miss Willow. We've got another meeting to attend. Save it for next time." With that, he grabbed my hand without hesitation and led me out the door. In the car afterward, I stared blankly, silent. Shen glanced at me several times. Finally, unable to hold back, he asked. I shook my head, muttering no. "Did she wrong you before?" I stayed silent. Shen cursed. "That woman doesn't look like anything good. Thinks she's above everyone else. Playing at being aloof. Why didn't you say anything earlier?" My tangled thoughts were stirred by his words. I couldn't help but snap. "What's the point of saying anything? Are you going to beat her up for me?" "Of course," Shen said indignantly. "How did she wrong you?" I didn't answer. After a moment of silence, Shen handed me a bottle of water. "Next time we see her, I'll deal with her for you." I looked at his regretful expression, like he wished he'd punched Willow then and there, and couldn't help but curve my lips into a smile. Those heavy emotions slowly faded. Shen and Willow Hayes were two entirely different people. Willow was the untouchable flower from childhood. After returning to the country and seeing her, I'd heard bits and pieces about her. I thought she loved Shepard so much. She'd stay with him forever. But after I was rescued, they broke up. Rumor has it things ended badly. Willow even slapped Shepard in public. Then they went their separate ways. She came to her senses. In just one semester, she reclaimed first place. During the college entrance exam, she got into Tsinghua as the provincial top scorer. After graduating, she went to the UK for further studies, and only recently returned to take over her family business. She was the quintessential golden child, driving a Maybach, wearing custom-tailored suits, even sitting among others. She seemed to exist in a different world. Shen was different. His family was wealthy too, but he carried none of the rich kid arrogance. During overtime, he'd sleep on a cot in the office with us, waking up with hair like a bird's nest, normally wearing cheap shirts, blending in with everyone. No trace of the perfect heir's burden. Being with him was easy. Like he said, I didn't feel as bad anymore. After seeing Willow Hayes again, I started having trouble sleeping. Even when I did, nightmares plagued me. Always the burning fire, a scorching red, in the choking black smoke. Willow Hayes holding Shepard's hand, coldly watching me, pushing me into an abyss. Then I'd wake up drenched in sweat. I took a day off, didn't want to stay home, didn't know where to go, so I wandered aimlessly. When I came to my senses, I realized I was at our old high school gate. I stood there for a long time. Then someone approached from behind. It was Willow Hayes. Last time I hadn't looked at her closely. Now I noticed 10 years had changed her. She was taller, no longer the frail teenager. Her figure more pronounced. Her face with refined makeup looked mature. But in her fitted black trench coat, standing there, I could almost see the 17-year-old Willow, only the girl who used to call me dumb, while patiently explaining problems, was now a blurry memory, replaced by the one who abandoned me. I frowned instinctively, stepping back to leave, but Willow called out to me. After a long pause, she said hoarsely, "Dawn Light, I owe you an apology. All these years I've been looking for you. I keep dreaming about that day. Every moment I regret leaving you behind." I coldly curled my lips. What's the point of saying this now? The damage is done. No apology can undo it. Willow gave a bitter smile. I know an apology isn't enough. I just want to make it up to you. Can you give me a chance? No need, I said expressionlessly. Willow Hayes, I don't want to see you again. Let's just be strangers. Strangers, she repeated, her tone laced with sharp hidden pain. She stepped forward. Her expression agitated. "Dawn Light, I know you resent me. Hate me, hit me, curse me. I won't complain, but we were together for so long, and now you want to be strangers." I was foolish back then, she admitted, but I truly regret it. I lowered my head, clenching my fists. A storm of emotions churned inside me, screaming and rushing through my mind. It took all my strength to keep myself from lashing out at her. "Willow Hayes, can you stop being so shameless? You say you regret it and am supposed to forgive you. Do you know how hard I clenched my teeth, feeling the taste of rust in my mouth? What I went through back then, and you still dare to stand in front of me?" A deep pain creased Willow Hayes' brow. She was speechless. To be honest, have I hated Willow Hayes all these years? Of course I have, but not that much. She liked Shepard, chose him over me. It's only natural, you could say. But what did I do wrong? Who could I even blame? Over the years, I've come to terms with it. Maybe it was just my bad luck to face such a calamity. I never even wanted her apology. I just wanted to never see her again in this lifetime. Willow Hayes called out to me from behind, her voice hoarse with panic. "Dawn Light, you liked me back then, didn't you? I want to tell you I liked you too. I was too stupid to see it clearly. I didn't stop walking. Saying you like me now, what a joke. It's far too ridiculous. I loved Willow Hayes for so many years. Loved her deeply, so deeply. I waited for her for so many years. But a young man's fragile love, in the face of such a disaster, was as frail as a sheet of paper, burned to ashes in an instant by the flames. Now all I feel for her is disgust. Disgust so strong I don't want to look at her again. Back then she didn't choose me, and I'll never need her to choose me again." As I crossed the street, my steps halted abruptly. A man in a faded red jacket took off his sunglasses in surprise. "Dawn Light," he smiled, "do you remember me? It's me, Shepard, at the business banquet with Shen." On my way to the restroom in the corridor, I heard a familiar voice. Peeking over, Shepard in a suit was hugging Willow Hayes from behind. "All these years, I've never forgotten you. I've always been thinking of you, Hayes." You could tell Shepard hadn't been doing well. His suit was ill-fitting, worn out. His ankles peeked out from two short pants. The defiance once on his face had turned slick. His belly protruded slightly. Had put on weight. No idea how he even got in here. I glanced at the scar on Shepard's cheek. Back when I went abroad, my buddies outraged on my behalf. Had someone beat Shepard within an inch of his life. That time he nearly died. My friends came from wealthy, powerful families. Second-generation elites, unlike Shepard. He never even knew who attacked him. Had to chalk it up to bad luck. Later he got into more trouble and was expelled. With no education, he couldn't find work. My friends back home kept tabs on him. Every job he landed was sabotaged. In the end, he turned to robbery out of desperation, got sentenced to 7 years. Inside, I made sure he was taken care of. His suffering was 10 times worse than mine. Back then it hit me. He was nothing. Probably hit rock bottom. And now seeing Willow Hayes again, he was quick to cling to her. Willow Hayes stayed silent. I know you blame me. Her eyes red, she said, but I was scared to back then. I didn't mean it. Her hand slowly reached up to touch him. I know you haven't forgotten me. Hayes, have you forgotten how much you liked me? You even gave up Dawn Light for me. Willow Hayes shoved him away sharply, her eyes blazing with anger. Don't mention him. Her voice was icy. Unrelenting. The thing I regret most in my life is saving you back then. She looked Shepard up and down. When she saw his suit, a sneer of contempt crossed her face. The foolish infatuation of youth. After 10 years, she saw through the illusion, revealing a harsh reality. The Shepard of today probably didn't even have the right to stand in front of Willow Hayes anymore. Willow Hayes owned 18 companies, a true heiress of wealth. Any single piece of her clothing was worth more than Shepard could earn in a year. The Shepard who once shone with a halo was now a jobless ex-convict. They were worlds apart. Shepard, don't ever show up in front of me again. Her gaze terrified Shepard. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak. Willow Hayes walked away. I turned and lit a cigarette. What kind of cursed fate was this? A city of 8 million people. When I came back, I never thought I'd run into people from back then, but one by one they showed up at my door. What I didn't expect was that Willow Hayes had truly let go of Shepard completely. Willow Hayes seemed indifferent to everything, but was actually very obsessive. From childhood, if she wanted something, she had to have it. And she never tired of what she loved. Honestly, I thought she loved him so much back then. She'd stay with him forever, but they broke up messily. Back at the banquet, I thought Shepard would leave, but he didn't. And he saw me. He walked over with a glass of wine, as if he'd completely forgotten what Willow Hayes said and the events of back then. He grinned. What a coincidence, Dawn Light. It's been a while. How have you been? I stared at him for a moment, said nothing, and turned to leave. If Willow Hayes choosing Shepard was something I could understand, Shepard slamming that door was what truly pushed me into hell. To this day, I don't know why he closed that door. Was it revenge because I was close to Willow Hayes, or just panic to buy time? I don't want to know. All I know is I despise this man in front of me, especially when he acts like nothing happened, standing before me so casually. I wanted to kill him on the spot. I took a deep breath. Too many people around. I couldn't lose control in public, but Shepard grabbed me relentlessly. We're old classmates. What's with the attitude? Don't you remember chasing Willow Hayes? He smirked, slinging an arm around my neck. You followed her like a dog, but she only liked me. He kept rambling, trying to vent the humiliation he got from Willow Hayes on me. I set my wine glass on a waiter's tray, loosened my tie, and punched Shepard, making him stagger. His words caught in his throat. I pulled back my aching fist, my gaze growing colder by the second. You dare hit me? A venomous glint flashed in Shepard's eyes. Clutching his face, he shouted, Dawn Light. You fucking hit me. Who do you think you are? Someone Hayes assaulting me. Call the police. Clearly, it was his first time at a place like this. Everyone watched him like he was a clown performing. Shepard's voice trailed off. I took a handkerchief from my secretary, wiped my hand, and tossed it aside. Willow Hayes, seeing the commotion, rushed over. Concerned, Dawn Light, are you okay? She checked me over thoroughly. After confirming I was fine, she turned to Shepard on the ground, scolding in disgust. Why are you still here making a fool of yourself? Didn't I tell you to get lost? Shepard clenched his teeth, about to speak. I looked down at him. Security, get this man out. Shepard panicked as two burly guards dragged him away. He shouted for Willow Hayes, but she didn't even glance at him. I shook off Willow Hayes irritably and walked out of the banquet hall. The autumn breeze carried a desolate chill. I belatedly felt the cold Shen chased after me, handing me the code head prepared. Who was that idiot just now? I asked you last time. What's the deal with this guy? How did he wrong you? I gripped the code soaking in its lingering warmth. Since the incident, I hadn't told anyone about it. I didn't want to bring it up, but now I don't know why. Maybe the autumn night was too cold, or maybe the person beside me was too warm. After a long silence, I spoke. Shen didn't say anything for a while. I tugged at the corner of my mouth, a faint bitter smile. A tragedy that happens to someone else always carries a hint of absurdity. Its normal head find it ridiculous, but he slowly hugged me, blocking out the night, leaving only his warmth. I muttered, pretty pathetic, huh? Shen said softly, a little, but it's them, not you. I couldn't help but smile. I didn't expect him to say anything sentimental. Shen was a bit clueless. The office's golden boy. When girls flirted with him, he'd think they had a twitch in their eye, asking if they stared at screens too long, or if their eyes were too dry. But the cracks in my heart suddenly didn't feel so unbearable. I suddenly said to Shen, "Do you like me? I'm not an idiot, nor do I play hard-to-get games." Shen was genuinely good to me, a good guy. Pretending I didn't notice was starting to feel unfair. Shen's face flushed visibly in the night. Even his neck turned red. His eyes widened, his beautiful eyes reflecting my smiling face. I thought he'd deny it, but he just stared at me. "You only notice now." I looked away speechless. "I don't want to hold you back. I really don't want to date right now. I once loved someone, but that unrequited love ended so painfully. I'm truly scared." Over the years, it's not like no girls showed interest. Some were exceptional. I tried to force myself to move on, but at the last moment, I always recoiled. All these years, Shen's presence was the only one I could tolerate, but that's all it was. I was truly scared. Shen looked a bit disappointed, but still smiled brightly without a trace of gloom. "I understand. I can wait dawn light. As long as you don't push me away. That's enough. I won't ask for more." I was stunned. Shen's background was impressive, not inferior to Willow Hayes' wealth or looks, though his personality was a bit carefree. The men who liked him could circle the company 3 times with no issue. A strange emotion surged in my heart. My chest ached with a sour swell. I didn't know what to say. Shen's warmth lingered in the cold night, making the past seem less heavy, but the scars were still there. I wasn't sure I could open my heart again, yet Shen's patience felt like a quiet promise. My heart throbbed, torn between fear and hope. Just then, Willow Hayes came looking for me. The moment she saw me, she hurriedly explained, "Dawn light. I really didn't know he'd show up today." Before she could finish, Shen's palm struck her face hard. He wasn't fooling around. He really hit Willow Hayes for me. I didn't know how strong Shen was, but he didn't hold back. Willow Hayes stumbled, nearly falling. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. Shen's expression darkened. Snarling, "You've got the nerve to come find him." Willow Hayes' face turned cold. She wiped the blood from her lips. "This is between me and Dawn Light. It's none of your business." Shen casually rolled up the sleeves of his 40,000 Chanel coat. "You harass my boyfriend and say it's none of my business. Get lost, and if you come near Dawn Light again, I'll beat you every time I see you." I froze, then realized I didn't contradict Shen's words. Willow Hayes was stunned. Then she looked at me in disbelief. "Boyfriend? Dawn Light, you're with him?" Shen linked arms with me, mocking, "Miss Willow, in terms of family and looks, I'm no less than you." He sized her up, "And age, I'm much younger than you. Auntie, have some self-awareness. Dawn Light didn't choose me. Why would he choose an old woman like you?" Willow Hayes' face turned ashen. I said flatly, "Willow Hayes, I don't care for your apology, nor do I need your compensation. Just leave." The color drained from Willow Hayes' face. Ignoring Shen's presence, she clutched her hair. Stepping forward, eyes red. "Dawn Light, I truly regret it. I'm begging you. You don't know how I've lived these years. Please don't do this. Give me one chance. Anything you want, I'll give. It was so hard to see you again. I've been searching for you for 10 years. Shen glared. "I've got a temper. You looking for another beating? I stopped him, looking earnestly at Willow Hayes. I don't blame you for what happened. You don't need to make up for anything. But Willow Hayes, I really don't want to see you again. If you truly feel you owe me, never appear in front of me again. Willow Hayes staggered. A deep despair clouded her face. She gave a bitter smile. Fine. If that's your wish, you'll honor it. I didn't expect. That was the last time I'd see Willow Hayes. The next I heard of her was in the local news. Man kills heiress in a fit of passion. Wealthy heir dies on the spot. Shepard never gave up on Willow Hayes, relentlessly harassing her. Willow Hayes felt only disgust and hatred for him. She had him beaten up. Shepard, already with nothing to lose, was pushed to the brink by Willow Hayes. He grew to hate her. One day, as she headed to her company, he blocked her path and stabbed her 7 or 8 times, each thrust aimed to kill. By the time the ambulance arrived, Willow Hayes had no heartbeat. Shepard, covered in blood, held the knife, laughing maniacally on the street. Willow Hayes, you think you're so great. You're the most disgusting one. You're the one who should die. His public murder was witnessed by many. Surveillance footage was plentiful. It was open and shut. The court sentenced him for intentional homicide, death penalty, immediate execution. My company was expanding overseas. I planned to go abroad with Shen. Before leaving, I visited Willow Hayes once. Her tombstone bore a photo of her at 17, her eyes clear with a hint of a smile. I stood with my hands in my pockets and suddenly saw the girl with black hair fluttering in the wind, a girl with stunning peach blossom eyes, looking at me with subtle tenderness. I asked her, Willow Hayes, the teacher wanted you to skip a grade, why didn't you? She scoffed, turning away. If I left, what would a dummy like you do? You might not even get into college. Screwing bolts for a living, I huffed. I'm not that dumb. You're talking nonsense. She looked at me, a smile in her eyes. She reached out and ruffled my spiky hair. I closed my eyes. That was a memory too distant, one I hadn't thought of in ages. After 17, Willow Hayes became someone I couldn't bear to recall. But now she was gone, and I remembered her as she was in youth. I turned away. The 17-year-old girl propped her chin, saying to the boy across, dummy, I've explained this simple problem so many times and you still don't get it. Without me, what would you do? Those faces gradually blurred, fading into nothingness. That absurd youth, after all these years, finally drew to a close. Maybe we should have said goodbye long ago, but this farewell came so late. Willow Hayes, if there's a next life, I hope we never meet again. I once thought Shepard was a light in my life. In my first 17 years, my life was always so orderly, meticulous. Every stage of my life seemed planned out. What I should do, what I shouldn't do. Every step had to be perfect. I never imagined you could live like Shepard. I'd never seen a boy like him. He was bad at studies, had a terrible reputation, but he seemed so free, caring nothing for others' opinions. So when he cornered me, saying he liked me, I saw the free spark in his eyes and couldn't help but nod. Being with Shepard was joyful. In my life before, I'd never felt that way. No need to care about parents or teachers. No need to worrying about grades. Just follow my heart. I was addicted to those days and grew to hate the monotonous past even more. Dawn Light represented that monotony. So when he came to me, talking about going to Tsinghu together, all I felt was disgust. I thought I loved Shepard. So in the warehouse, I didn't hesitate to take him and leave. Then came the fire. It was like the illusions in my heart were burned away by that fire. When I saw Shepard again, I realized belatedly, I didn't love him. I just hated my monotonous life and fell for the so-called freedom he represented. When I learned what happened to Dawn Light, I broke down. I crouched on the ground sobbing, wailing until my lungs gave out. I didn't know how he survived. I didn't know what I was afraid of. I only knew I couldn't bear to think back. When I grabbed Shepard's hand, the despair in Dawn Light's eyes, in that moment, I knew something important was lost forever because of me. The next 10 years, I never saw Dawn Light again. The Light family cut ties with mine. I searched through so many people, but Dawn Light seemed determined to sever his past. He never let me find him. I went to America, England, lived in Australia for 3 months, traveled all over the Netherlands, spent the coldest winter in Canada. So many times I imagined opening my eyes to see that boy with the scarf, smiling with gentle eyes. I started dreaming constantly. The first half of the dreams were always beautiful. Head sprawl on the carpet complaining. Willow haze, this problem's so hard. Explain it to me again. But as I walked closer, the scene changed. The abandoned warehouse erupted in flames. He lay covered in blood amid the inferno, leaving a trail of blood tears for me. He said nothing, just one look, waking me countless times in the dead of night. Then I couldn't sleep. I thought with time, I'd gradually forget him, but his face grew clearer in my heart. I knew Dawn Light had become my obsession. I only realized after losing him how much I loved him. Shepard wasn't my light. My light had been by my side all along, for so many years. Seeing Dawn Light again, after 10 years, I thought I was seeing things. My heart skipped a beat. By the time I rushed out, he was gone. I don't know how I got home that day. I only knew I was lost, broken. My heart ached unbearably, screaming sharply. But soon I saw him again. Dawn Light had changed so much, yet seemed unchanged. Only the way he looked at me was different. No warmth left. In that moment my heart soured, like a weary traveler finally seeing home. I thought, no matter how he blamed me, I'd accept it. I wanted to make it up to him. I didn't dare hope for more, but secretly I wished he'd look at me like he used to. But he didn't need me. He had someone else by his side. His gaze held no love, like he was looking at something to avoid. I can't describe that feeling. Like a knife from his eyes, stabbing deep into my heart. Bloody. I scolded. The pain nearly brought me to my knees. I almost masochistically felt that pain. I owed him this. I deserved it. I didn't expect Shepard to show up again. He tore open Dawn Light's scars and ignored my warnings, harassing me. Back then, I ended things with Shepard with a slap. I thought we were done for good. But seeing him now, I realized the hate came rushing back. I even wished he'd die. I know I ruined Dawn Light, but without Shepard's appearance, maybe we wouldn't have ended up here. I had him beaten in revenge. I didn't expect it'd drive him insane. When he stabbed me, in that moment feeling life slip away, I suddenly found peace. This was what I owed Dawn Light. Shepard and I, we both deserved hell. The judgment I waited years for finally came down. I felt a strange relief. I looked at the sky. The city's blue was clear, without a cloud. Just like 10 years ago, before my eyes, a boy in a white shirt appeared. He asked Willow Hayes, "I heard the teacher talk to you today. Why didn't you agree to skip a grade?" I stood on tiptoe, reaching out. His hair was coarse, smelling of sunlight. After a long pause, I smiled. "Dummy, if I left, what would you do?"